our people need to embrace it completely. And embracing it, the first thing is to dominate. It means that we need to contribute, not consume. Consume is important, it's actually the objective, but we need to contribute to AI. Our creative sectors, our agricultural sectors, our technology sectors. In 2010 or 2011, I attended a conference in Scotland by a British woman, and the thing was called What Africa Has Refused to Share. In fact, that was why I went, what Africa has refused to share. And this woman, I walked in there in a small room at University of Aberdeen in Scotland, and this woman had put out a small exhibition of different produce that comes from Africa. And she would share how she put a map where those produce was found in the world, the botanical name, the industrial uses, the economic value, and things like that. And I saw a lot of things that I saw growing up that has disappeared. So if growing up, an Igbo man, we used to have okwa at the center table in our living room. The okwa is something that you can put kola nut, but you had alligator pepper right in the center, right inside its pod. So as a child, sometimes we just pass by, pick one, crack it with your teeth, taste that peppery bit, and move on. But they also have a saying that he who brings kola brings life, right? So you see, that's the medicinal part of kola nut, plus the unquantifiable medicinal and health benefits of alligator pepper was sitting right in the center of my parlor as a little kid. It's disappeared today. If you come to my house and I served you alligator pepper and kola nut, you probably call me a traditional or local man, right? You will expect Glenfiddich, which is, by the way, Scottish, I think. So you can see how we've exchanged what was so valuable that, by the way, the world does not have. They don't have it. And I can go on and on, but for purposes of brevity, I'm just saying that on the agric side, on produce, agricultural produce side, that conference showcased how wonderfully endowed we are as a people. It's like mmeme, I don't know what they call that one. There's some mmeme, there are so many fruits that we have here that grow. If in age, as dry as it is, if you wash tomato in a basket and pour it out the back, come back a few weeks later, tomato will grow and there would actually be a fruit. So yeah, thank you. So basically I'm saying that AI, artificial intelligence, is super important, and we need to take what we have in the brain, underneath the ground, on top of, above ground, and put it and ensure that we contribute significantly through science, technology, and innovation.
Awesome. I was enjoying every bit of that, and you're quite apt, very, very apt as regards to everything that you've said. And basically, that is the future for us as a continent. Is actually need in the future. And you've said quite a number of things about training earlier on, and the center you've set up for training. And again, we want to actually go into a little bit more. We're talking about what you haven't trained over 50,000 Nigerians in business and digital literacy. And then we've said so much about that. Just tell us more about this, just very quickly, in terms of the number 50,000 Nigerians.
Yeah, so this has been a journey, but a very interesting one. I have a research publication called Building a Community, a STEM community in Nigeria for digital skills. That is basically the method. We're a community-driven continent. We are a people. We love people, we love communities, we love coming together. In 2018, Google funded a project that we were meant to deliver, but the budget was so poor per person. However, we were hell-bent on reaching so many people, and we built a volunteering system where we trained the trainers. But we didn't just do that for the project. We developed it into a proper community that they could go out to their own locality, train people empowered by us, and train other trainers in their spare time so that those other trainers can train more people. And I think in 2019, we put that all in an academic document or paper, a research, and published it. I think we presented that paper in Thailand sometime in 2018 or 19. So that documents how we've been able to practically reach quite a lot of people with very minimal resources. In a week program, we try to push it through to become a national program, because that was basically what we've done in our own little way. And we thought that if it became a national program pushed by government, then it could even reach millions of people. We've not succeeded with that. We've not given up as well. But this is basically how we've been able to reach more people using tools. We have a mobile app called Mission T. We also use that to train teachers. We've had quite a lot of partners, over the years, different kinds of partners that have supported that journey. And we keep doing what we do. I think we're way above 50,000 people mark today, and we just keep matching up.
Awesome. And talking about the training, I thought as much, but I just wanted to get that clear, because when you talked about how you able to experience whereby we are able to work more with several hubs across the country. As a matter of fact, I took that note down earlier on. The trainer that you mentioned, I put it down there, and along with it, I would lead the leader. So what it means is that the work you're doing, you're not just doing just within the space alone or within your own hub alone, but you through your ISM, you are able to lead and train so many hubs across the country, if I may say. So that takes us to the next question also, which is actually taking strength from all of what you have mentioned or what we have discussed earlier. So you are currently the chairman of ISM. Okay. So tell us what ISM is about. You told us some things about it when we asked the earlier questions. But you say really that the federal government of Nigeria has been an obstacle or an enabler in the United States. Just to help your answer.
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Talking about the ISM hub, and telling us what it's all about. So we've said some things about it earlier. But would you now say, taking it further, because ISM hub is nationwide, is a national spread already. Okay? More is to cover almost all the states in Nigeria. So would you look at the government as an obstacle or an enabler in the innovation space?
Okay, I think that the government is an enabler and will always remain, whether we agree or not. For ISN specifically, it's been a journey. That journey got to a wonderful head with the role that ISN played in the Nigerian Startup Act, which was a bill at the time. ISN handled or anchored the community engagements, the state meetups, to ensure that when that bill was eventually signed into law, people from different states who normally don't care about what the Abuja people are doing felt that they were a part of that act. So it means that there are synergies that we can develop if we remain open-minded, and there are skills that we can achieve together. In fact, just today or yesterday, but it was in today's news, ISN was named in the Startup Labeling Committee by the federal government to say that in recognition of the role that we play in national development in the area of innovation, science, and technology, that we will be permanent, we will present representatives on the Startup Labeling Committee. So it's not Charles Emembolu, it is that group and that body will present people there. So that's the news I woke up to this morning. And of course, it buttresses the rest of the points that if we are part of, I studied innovation, entrepreneurship, and science park development in Sweden. There's what they call Vinnova. Vinnova is very similar to, or if Vinnova, which is a national innovation ecosystem, is very similar to what the Startup Act enables for Nigeria. And one of the critical positions for a system like that is labeling. So how do you categorize a business? If you miscategorize it, or you categorize it politically, or you don't have professionals categorizing it, there's no intervention program that you deploy that will work. Because you just be like, you know what I mean? If you try to use a twine to pull a lorry, you know what will happen. So that is exactly what it is. So in answer to that question, the government is an enabler and will always remain an enabler. And that is the approach we've adopted. We work very closely with them. A lot of times it doesn't work the way we want, but it's also a lesson. There's education that is happening. You see, every government establishment is talking about innovation, whether they are in agri, or they are in tech, or they are in creative. They are all talking about innovation. All of them want to set up innovation hubs. Some people complain that they are competing with innovation. I say, don't worry. The main thing is that they will try. They will see what we see. So when we come to talk the next time, they listen. They also understand how to enable us or empower us. So we just don't worry. We just keep moving. So they are enablers, and the biggest one at that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the enablement, and we believe, they will strengthen their path as far as that is concerned, and be less of competition, hopefully. And so now the next question is, we always hear that Nigerians are less talented people. Having trained so many Nigerians and giving full participation in the tech and innovation space, okay, what is your assessment of the Nigerian youth?
Let me crack you up. They are not lazy.
Nice one.
So, Nigerian youth are some of the best in the world, and I like giving examples. I have a guy that walked up to me on a ferry between Estonia, Tallinn, and Helsinki last year, and said, "Are you Charles Emembolu?" I said, "Yes." And he asked me a question. He said, "You're the reason why I'm here today." I said, "I don't understand. I don't even really know you." And he says, "I was at Rural Nigeria Hub. At Rural Nigeria Hub, we didn't have an integrated STEM training. We just told them, listen, you can't pay for developers. Your students, you're young. Better burn your midnight candles. Go and learn yourself." So they were mostly self-taught. They were not even they didn't even go through Tech Quest programs, right? And this guy if you know anything about Estonia, is a digital first nation. There are about 1 million people, but everything there is automated, is digital. So he says, "Do you know what it means to be a senior mobile developer in Tallinn? As a Nigerian, I have no foreign degrees. I've never been trained in any top school in the world. And I was recruited straight from Nigeria. And they did my paperwork and brought me to Tallinn." So I say this not to boast, but to say I'm proud that I am part of such a story. But it is also a testimony or a testament to the fact that Nigerian youth are smart, they are not lazy, and they are achieving many, many great things across the world. And those stories should be told far more than the negative ones that crop up once in a while. So that's what I would say.
Fantastic. Really, we can't agree. We just look here and response. And now this takes it closer. This is a question. Next question is very close to what you just answered, and of course, it's about advancing our knowledge while they are still very young, okay, and helping them to have a direction. So now, will ISN be considering innovation of setup opportunities for primary and secondary school students to help them as students, they negotiate with students by the name of the high school education. What's
The answer is yes. Yeah. We would love to if only we had the resources. I will speak for myself on this. I think that with a few of the strategy sessions and interactions I have had, most people have decided to focus on if your house was burning and you have a room where your certificates are, you may want to focus on that room and either get it out or quench the fire there, right? So just like TechQuest, we started focusing on 6 to 16 years. By 2020 December, unemployment rate had hit 30%. And unemployment means above 18. So you can see that at the point we are focusing on 6 to 16, we immediately switched. We still do our summer camps for 6 to 16 years when they are on holiday, but we immediately switched focus to that room where our certificates were, where people needed to get into the workforce very quickly. So the answer is yes. I think that is a key place where government enablement is required, because a lot of the models, economic models or economic driven models that support training and innovation hubs, above 18 do not exactly work at 6 to 16. So it needs to be de-risked. It's something like government bringing in funding, that just trains these people without any worries, you get? So I think that the answer is definitely yes, subject to the availability of resources.
Awesome. We agree with you on that, basically, because by the time you look at those that actually need to put food on the table for themselves are those that are actually out of school already, while those that are younger still in fear. So, but of course, looking forward and looking to the source of the future, that's a very well known. Now, congratulations to you regarding the prestigious business that's your exit organization.
Thank you.
Which recently awarded. Tell us more about this one and about the situation.
Thank you. So the EduTimes mission is basically the fact that we want to be able to reach 1 billion people over the next decade. And we've thought about the ability to scale training. Like you have heard, I've done training since I was young, basically, even with the corporates, and I see the problem with scaling training. There are about 80 million on-field job roles in tech today across the world. That is a very big problem. And Africa, on the other hand, is complaining about lack of jobs. So what we decided with the Exude is to go the non-traditional route. One is, what do training organizations lack? Find innovative ways to give them that. What do learners lack? Find innovative ways to give them that. What do training partners like government or NGOs and policymakers lack? Things like data. Find a way to give them that. And use tech or digital platforms to reach aggregates of communities. So current pilots that we are running in Nigeria, one is training organizations typically never have full classes. So if you wake up now and decide to start training, maybe you do a small lesson in your home, you can't pay for a big classroom sometimes, you don't have digital tools like that will enable you to deliver. If you want to do Zoom that lasts for more than 40 minutes, you have to pay in dollars to somebody. The marketing budget, you don't have it. So we decided to create a platform that provides that. And then if you're a student, maybe you're not even young, maybe you're even a 40-year-old banker who has suddenly lost his job, but you have 20 years of experience under your belt and you're trying to pivot your work skill, right? But you don't even know where to start. Those are AI is there to help you. Just talk to it like you talk to open ChatGPT, and it will guide you, show you the different career options that you have, how much you can earn, places you can learn it, just simplifying those kind of things. So the Exude is just your skill partner at scale. So Andela had to train people physically and keep them on the bench. We are not even talking about placing people yet, because we know that if they are well trained, there are jobs out there looking for them. If you know any chief information officer in Nigeria for any corporate, ask him if he has open jobs. He will tell you yes. The problem is that the people applying do not have the skills that he's looking for. The Exude is here to solve that problem at scale.
Also, so I believe that the Exude will also be fixing that problem that Japan has actually created over the past years, because we believe and we look at how much of technology skills that we have, if we look in the way that organizations are still struggling with. So now talking about Exude and the fundraising, are there many funding opportunities out there, and are Nigerians generally aware of them?
There's more money chasing Africa than Africa needs, directly or indirectly. What is lacking is misplacement of capability, capacity, and understanding. Very, very front-seated in supporting different people, not just my own company. I have seen where an organization, government, or NGO is ready to give out $1 million, for instance, but there's no Nigerian company in that space that has proven capacity to receive it. I've seen tenders go out for development, for grants, for projects, and come back with no viable party. I've seen organizations like the EU have to take calls back out to Europe so that you can find people that have the competence and capacity to deploy, which is why it's a shame. Sometimes that's some of the only regrets I have around JAPA. I think JAPA is a good thing, by the way. I don't think there's a problem with it. But it's some of the losses, the huge losses that we take because some of our best leave. The people that are like let me take myself, for example. All the people I did, the first banking consolidation, 2006 to 2008, 9, 10. Most of the people that I worked with deploying a lot of that core infrastructure, we have a few groups, right? If I host my birthday party in Lagos today, maybe 2 people out of that group will turn up. If I host it in Canada, 40 people will turn up from that group. If I host it in UK, the same thing. If I host it in America, the same thing. But I can tell you that those are some of the crop of Nigeria's finest trained in that period, who have deployed actual systems in our environment with all the peculiarities. They know that NEPA can fail, they know that truck can fall, they know all those things, and they deploy. So they have unique experiences, plus the knowledge and know-how. So I think that there's a lot of money, opportunity for funding, but it needs to be met by capacity, capability, and understanding. And that is in short supply.
Ability, capacity, and understanding. That's very deep. With competence.
Sorry, Charles, you mentioned something. We lost you. There's a bit I didn't hear. You said something about front-ended. I didn't want to stop you then because you had other things.
Front-seated.
Yes, you mentioned something. So you said something just before front-seated, which I missed. I didn't You broke up.
No, I said in the period where the last 2-3 years where I've been in the front seat of, supporting organizations beyond my own, the role I'm playing in ISN. Before I took on those roles with ISN, I will typically only tell you about my own experience. But these days, I have people calling me from Zaria. There's this grant that is coming to the north. They want to give us, they say it's up to $5 million, but we need a company that has been able to do at least $500,000 in the last years. And you find out that they've only done $20,000. How can you give them $5 million? So that's what I was trying to say.
Awesome. So when you say $5 million, are you talking about $5 million in terms of as far as that's you're talking in terms of total, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, basically, we believe that all of this will come together and better capability, improved capacity, and better understanding at the end of the day. So now to the next question. Nigeria's high unemployment rate poses much danger for the country. What do you think is that thing?
Can you give me just 1 minute? Let me give somebody a key. Right. Just a minute, please.
All right.
Oh.
So again, like I said earlier, Nigeria's high unemployment rate poses much danger for our country. What do you think is that thing that can be done? What do you think is that thing that can be done to
unemployment?
Yes, to bring it down. Yes.
Well, I think we've touched on all of those so far. The very first one is that we need to embark on an education system overhaul. In tech, quite a lot of people, a lot of startup founders, people that need more advanced type of tech talent, will typically tell you that Nigeria, they just mention people, but that the people is quantity, no quality. Increasingly, you have university graduates that can't draft a letter, not to talk of coding, exposure. So we need to embark on an education overhaul. We also need to, and that overhaul must shift our focus from just certificates to problem solving. People that leave school with a skill that solves a problem rarely ever run around looking for work. So that shift, we still pay lip service to it. And I think that to achieve that in 2024, we must move away from the traditional systems partially. We must ensure that we adopt technology in deploying those changes. Are we ready? I don't think so. But we just keep doing what we are doing. But that has to happen for that danger not to materialize. However, if it does not happen, it portends disaster for Nigeria. We're already seeing some snippets of it. Some will call it religious problem. Some will call it political problem. Some will call it tribal problem. I think it's an education problem that we have.
That is well answered. That's well answered. That is one thing that gives us worry, sleepless nights, and we keep wondering at EduTimes Africa, how can this problem be fixed? And I think we had this similar conversation sometimes, and I was telling you that almost everyone has said the same thing. So now, to the very last question, where do you see Nigeria and Africa's innovative economic space in the next 10 years?
Yeah, so I'm an incurable optimist. And I'm betting on Nigeria. I've bet on Nigeria and I keep betting on Nigeria. I missed the first Japa wave before Japa was a word. I missed the second one. I'm here. We're here. So I can tell you that we are here because Nigeria's potential will materialize. We just need the right leadership, and we do have some already in certain spaces. We just need to galvanize that action. And I'm not talking about political leadership alone, even religious leadership. I mean, what people are learning now are places of religious worship, school leadership, government, of course, inclusive, traditional leadership. So if we are able to galvanize action on that, somebody challenged me recently. He asked me if I'll be happy to take up the local government position. The recent debate on local government autonomy, and if I were local government I come from a big city, Onitsha. I come from Onitsha proper, right? And he says, do I know the budget reallocation for Onitsha? That if I have all this mandate, would I be happy to take up local government chairman of my community? That I probably would achieve more impact than I can running around trying, because I will have more people, government power and resources. It was a big challenge because honestly, I couldn't immediately say yes, if you know what I mean. It was tough for me to think that everybody wants to be governor, you know what I mean? Everybody wants to be minister, everybody wants to be president. A lot of people that are learned, exposed, that can actually do work don't want to be local government chairpersons, because it's been some parts of it have been bastardized. They no longer see it as public service, and the kind of people that have gone into those positions in recent times in some places is not what you want to be known as. But we must change that. And if we bring the right leadership to the table, in 10 years' time, Nigeria will dominate. We're already dominating anyway, to be frank with you, just not at the right level. We have the most unicorns, for instance, in Africa. We have the most fun, because fun follows value, right? Nobody throws away venture capital for the fun of it. So all those are indicators. It's just that with the value proposition that we have, it's so undervalued, it's so under-realized that it is a shame. But I think that 10 years is enough time if we keep marching at this pace, if we keep collaborating, if we keep leveraging networks like ISN instead of the siloed building that we typically would adopt in Nigeria. If government continues to engage, like the wonderful news I woke up to this morning, that is recognizing a collective for collective good, rather than just appointing people for the sake of it, we will be a leader, not for Africa, but for the world. Nigeria has what it takes to be in the top five innovative cities in the world. We have everything that it takes. Just leadership at the right levels that we lack. And then, of course, education to support the build. And 10 years is enough time.
Thank you so much, Charles. Really thanks for being here. If you look at Nigeria and look at India, you look at China, you look at America, one thing that is consistent amongst those countries is the population. So if you see that Nigeria has what it takes to be top 5, you need that in the basic space. And all of those countries, they are big innovation. So it shows that our population can grow, right? With the right education perspectives and things like that. Thank you so much, Charles. I really appreciate your time.
I didn't hear. Did you ask a question? You broke up a bit.
Oh, sorry. So I'm saying that USA, China, India, Nigeria, they all have one thing common amongst the four of them, which is the population. So if any country has the kind of population that we have, we should actually be within that space. I'm only trying to corroborate what you just said. in terms of where Nigeria should be in 10 years' time. Of course, with the right education. I'm just collaborating with you. Thank you so much, Charles.